होगा गवर्नमेंट।
State was given the new designation of Minister of Cabinet rank. But in 1957, the earlier designation was restored. Next in rank are the deputy ministers. They are not given independent charge of ministries. They are attached to the cabinet ministers or ministers of state and assist them in their administrative, political and parliamentary duties. They are not members of the cabinet and do not attend cabinet meetings. It must also be mentioned here that there is one more category of ministers called parliamentary secretaries. They are the members of the last category of the Council of Ministers, which is also known as the ministry. They have no department under their control. They are attached to the senior ministers and assist them in the discharge of their parliamentary duties. Since 1967, no parliamentary secretaries have been appointed except during the first phase of the Rajiv Gandhi era. At times, the Council of Ministers may also include a deputy prime minister. Thus, Sardar Patel in Nehru's ministry, Morarji Desai in Indira Gandhi's ministry, Charan Singh in the Morarji Desai's ministry, Jagjeevan Ram in the Charan Singh's ministry, and Devi Lal in the VP Singh's ministry served as deputy prime ministers. The deputy prime ministers are appointed mostly for political reasons. Council of Ministers versus Cabinet. The words Council of Ministers and Cabinet are often used interchangeably, though there is a definite distinction between them. They differ from each other in respects of composition, function, and role. These differences are discussed below. Council of Ministers versus Cabinet. Council of Ministers. It is a wider body consisting of 60 to 70 members, while the Cabinet is a smaller body consisting of 15 to 20 members. Council of Ministers includes all the three categories of ministers: cabinet ministers, ministers of state, and deputy ministers. But the cabinet includes only the cabinet ministers. Thus, it is a part of the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers does not meet as a body to transact government business. It has no collective functions. The Cabinet, on the other hand, meets as a body frequently and usually once in a week to deliberate and take decisions regarding the transaction of government business. Thus, it has collective function. Council of Ministers is vested with all powers but in theory. The Cabinet exercises, in practice, the powers of the Council of Ministers and thus acts for the latter. The Council of Ministers' functions are determined by the Cabinet. The Cabinet directs the Council of Ministers by taking policy decisions which are binding on all ministers. The Council of Ministers implements the decisions taken by the Cabinet. The Cabinet supervises the implementation of its decisions by the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers is a constitutional body dealt in detail by the Articles 74 and 75 of the Constitution. Its size and classification are, however, not mentioned in the Constitution. Its size is determined by the Prime Minister according to the exigencies of the time and requirements of the situation. Its classification into a three-tier body is based on the conventions of parliamentary government as developed in Britain. It has, however, got a legislative sanction. Thus, the Salaries and Allowances Act of 1952 defines a minister as a member of the Council of Ministers by whatever name called and includes a deputy minister. The cabinet was inserted in Article 352 of the Constitution in 1978 by the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Thus, it did not find a place in the original text of the Constitution. Now also, Article 352 only defines the cabinet, saying that it is the council consisting of the Prime Minister and other ministers of cabinet rank appointed under Article 75, and does not describe its powers and functions. In other words, its role in our politico-administrative system is based on the conventions of parliamentary government as developed in Britain. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the lower house of the Parliament, while the Cabinet enforces the collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers to the lower house of the Parliament. Role of the Cabinet. It is the highest decision-making authority in our politico-administrative system. It is the chief policy formulating body of the central government. It is the supreme executive authority of the central government. It is the chief coordinator of central administration. It is an advisory body to the President, and its advice is binding on him. It is the chief crisis manager and thus deals with all emergency situations. It deals with all major legislative and financial matters. It exercises control over higher appointments like constitutional authorities and senior secretariat administrators, and it deals with all foreign policies and foreign affairs. Kitchen Cabinet. The Cabinet, a small body consisting of the Prime Minister as its head and some 15 to 20 most important ministers, is the highest decision-making body in the formal sense. However, in practice, a still smaller body called the Inner Cabinet or Kitchen Cabinet has become the real center of power. This informal body consists of the Prime Minister and 2 to 4 influential colleagues in whom he has faith and with whom he can discuss every problem. It advises the Prime Minister on important political and administrative issues and assists him in making crucial decisions. It is composed of not only cabinet ministers but also outsiders like friends and family members of the Prime Minister. Every Prime Minister in India has had its inner cabinet, a circle within a circle. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru's inner cabinet consisted of Patel, Azad, Iyengar and Kidwai. Lal Bahadur Shastri relied upon Y.B. Chavan, Swaran Singh and G.L. Nanda. During the era of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the inner cabinet, which came to be called the Kitchen Cabinet, was particularly powerful and consisted of persons like Y.B. Chavan, Uma Shankar Dikshit, Farooquddin Ali Ahmad, Dr. Karan Singh and others. Ministers have resorted to the device of inner cabinet due to its merits, namely, it being a small unit is much more effective decision-making body than a large cabinet. It could meet more often and deal with business much more expeditiously than a large cabinet. It helps the Prime Minister in maintaining secrecy in making decisions on important political issues. However, it has many demerits also. As rightly observed by Awasthi and Awasthi, it reduces the authority and status of the cabinet as the highest decision-making body. It circumvents the legal process by allowing outside persons to play an influential role in the governmental functioning. The phenomena of kitchen cabinet, where decisions are cooked and placed before the cabinet for formal approval, is not unique to India. It also exists in US and Britain and is quite powerful in influencing governmental decisions there.